Hello.
Yeah, well, I don't have that many viewers from like the UK or the whatsamahoozy, the Western European countries. Most of my viewers are in Australia or they're over in they're in the United States. I could probably have a look at my analytics again to like, see what it is and what have you, but frankly, it's probably not really all that necessary. But yeah, hi everyone, happy Monday, welcome, welcome. I hope you're doing okay. Hey, but yeah, I don't have to work today, which is a good thing. I don't, so I'm still like I'm still quote unquote on call. So right now there's like an entirely different team that's working like the 9 to 5 in their time zone. So I think at around about 2 or 3 o'clock, it's like the end of the day for them, I think, or something like that. So more likely I'm gonna, just with the way the world is I'm probably gonna get like a phone call for some reason, or maybe not if the rest of Australia is interpret, or the rest of the Australian Corp is interpreting today as like a not work day. But yeah, I'm on call until like tomorrow 9 a.m. or something crazy like that. So rather than like, do a stream in the evening on the Mondays like what I normally do, I thought I would actually do one in the morning like I used to do, whenever these kinds of Monday days off popped up. So, yay. Also, I am staring like way too far down. I need to like be bam. There we go. That way I'm not like staring all the way down like that. I'm like, a little more like, focused like this. Hi, handsome Miss Zeebs. Hi there, Uranea Zach. Alrighty then. So yeah, my day is going pretty good. Let's just get straight into it. I am going through Monster Hunter. Why? Because I can do that. It is a little bit fun. And yeah, after the graphics update, it looks like my graphics card is actually it's a little bit... It's able to handle this nonsense. It's able to, you know, do all this. Now, you may be wondering why the fuck I have a hunting horn. That's because of this dumb chart here. For those of you who may not be aware, but, a while ago, cool, none of my assignments feature so yeah, a while ago, I think it was like during like a survey. Yeah, field survey. In this field survey, I had the heavy bowgun indicated at least once, and I never thought I would use the heavy bowgun. So rather than leave it as like one blemish on like my overall, I've started doing a few quests, like a few optional quests, and I'm making it so then that way each of the weapons that I don't normally use are gonna at least be up to a value of 10, both as a offhand weapon in case I need to swap to it out in the battle, and as a main weapon. So the light bowgun has been an offhand 10 times. The heavy bowgun has been offhand 10 times both. It's been in both offhand and on-hand 10 times. Hunting horn has been offhand for 10, but is probably going to be my secondary going forward, most likely. Or actually, maybe the hunting bow? I don't know. But yeah, point is, I'm going to try and fill up this graph in my off time with all the different weapons. So then that way, the next time you look at this chart, everything is going to be at a flat 10, except for my most used weapons, which is most likely going to be the fucking hammer over here. Because look at it, the hammer is like used 35 times. Also, hi there, Bookie. Welcome to the stream. But yeah. A third-rate beta hunter with a fourth-rate loadout. Anyway, I can stop the music. Did the music stop, or is it still going? Yep, the music stopped. Awesome. So yeah, so I've got a number of missions that I will need to do. I've got an optional that I want to have a look at, though, at the Windward Plains, so I'm gonna have a look at that one and probably, like, you know, update my loadout so I'm using the light bowgun as my main and the greatsword as my offhand. Alright, let's dismount.
You keeping stocked?
Alrighty, Tom.
Never hunt on an empty
Cool.
stomach.
Alright, so we got more rations. Do you have any quests for me? No, I don't. So there's 2 days left on these, but that doesn't really help. I've already claimed all of my content. Calicos can talk? Palicos? Yeah. This has been like a thing, weirdly enough, where it's like, yeah, they can just talk. Alright, hang on. I need to head to... I'm gonna head to my camp real quick and update the loadout. So yeah, you can... Yeah, like Marinea Zach says, you can choose for them to speak. Most people don't normally, but it is what it is. Alright, and then Greatsword is my offhand. There we go. I had a little bit of fun with the heavy bowgun, but the thing is that I'm not using it on, like, the toughest monsters. I'm just using it on the, blah, 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 blah. I've just been using it on, like, the frog with the knuckles. Alright, what's this guy's? Dareel, what's your, shtick?
I'm glad you came to speak with me, Hunter. Might I make a request of you? I'd like to commission the capture of some endemic life as part of the Guild's ecological survey.
Endemic life capture?
I'm grateful. Just equip the capture net to your patience and precision are key.
Want to help out a bit?
There we go. Alrighty. Yep, I know exactly how that works. So we just need to capture a track-tail lizard. That'll be easy enough to do. Honestly, a lot of stuff will come out at the night. There we go. Now, I'm pretty sure a track-tail lizard is going to be down at, like, the weird desert oasis thing. Come on. Where are you? Just jump. There we go. Alrighty. Just need to find... It's not... Oh, maybe the lizards are only out during the day, perhaps, because of the heat. So we're not going to find a lot of the lizards. We're going to find other endemic lives, most likely. Let's see.
The terrain here looks like a natural trap.
You are correct, but that's not important right now. I just like being able to whip.
Can't go back after riding one of these.
Succulents. Oh, hello, Alma. What is Alma doing here? She just lazing about? Oh, wyvern point, thank you.
This is. It looks quite old.
I'm not seeing... Okay, we got some hoppers here.
Researching endemic life is part of the hunter's duty, you know?
You are correct, my palate. Oh, hello.
Mind if I hop on?
No, those are wind rustlers.
There are a lot of monsters there.
Alrighty, so they're gonna be low to the ground kind of lizards, not tall lizards then. But yeah, I chose for the palicos to speak. I don't know, it's fine for me. I like them. Okay, is it you? No, you're just... I thought there were creatures, but they were just tufts of grass or something.
I gathered some materials too. Check your field pouch.
There we
Some
go.
of these might be tracks.
Hi there, Wild Saber. What are you remembering? Also, why is my network... Oh, because I probably have something going off in the,
When lightning strikes the sand,
I always forget this, but because I am...
And there's plenty of it
I've
here.
got, like, a network server that does all kinds of nonsense. So, there's more likely a case... Yeah, it's doing something. Stop all. And then limit it. So then that way it's not doing... Remember, we all have kicked a pregnant woman in our lives until we meet again. Oh, you're just... Yeah, no, I remember that, Skeletor, quote. The idea is that, you know, not like after birth we've kicked a pregnant woman one time. That's not what it's trying to insinuate. What it's insinuating is that a pregnant woman has been kicked one time. And that was when we were in the womb. That's the gimmick. I'm familiar with this gimmick. Alrighty. So we're not having a sandstorm kick up right now, which is okay. But I'm not seeing any of the necessary creatures we want to capture. Oh, maybe it's these things? Tracktail lizard. Nice. Alrighty. So we got that mission done. Exquisite fossil. Flash bug. Don't think we need to deal... Yeah, there isn't any dangerous creatures as far as I can see. So we're just gonna grab you. Grab you. Grab you. And grab you while we're at it. Through here. Because this is like, Wilkie, or as they have told us in this game, wyvern milk, which is like, you know, crazy kind of, magical material that does, like, really great, like, energy output and what have you. In a study of narcissism, baby boomers are more sensitive than millennials. I do not know how to take that information, I'm gonna be real with you. Part of me feels like that one, you know, someone might have baited for that. Because narcissism is is definitely a condition. Don't... Alright, fossilized opal. Alright, can we go up here? Yes, we can. Leading us to the oasis that's here. Nice. Peckers. Okay. Alright. No crazy monsters. Just gonna fast travel. There we go. Alright, hopefully the dropped frames isn't gonna be a problem going forward. Alright, so we report back. I'm pretty sure we captured that thing already, so we just had to capture it again
Excellent
for this
work.
side quest.
I've taken the spec. With that, our survey of the... Oh, thank you again for your...
Yeah! Well, that was an easy side quest. And we got ourselves some honey for the effort. Pretty decent guild points as well. A step towards mutual understanding and some tasteful threads. Nice. Also, hi there, Acacia. Good morning from the lab. Hope your streak going well. Yeah, it's going all right.
The latest muse here.
Oh, we have more missions we can do with him. Hang on a second. Color me very curious, then. I wonder if this will count as, like, you know, completing stuff for my,
I heard you helped with the ecological survey out in the wind.
Oh,
Yes.
hold on.
And what I'm missing is that same... The target location is the Scarlet Forest.
Time to make ourselves useful.
Okay, then, so... Now we just need to capture a Dapper Wing. In the Scarlet Forest, which I believe I know the direction we need to go for
Keeping
that one.
stocked?
We'll need to head out in that direction. Once it allows us to. Because I'm pretty sure, yeah, it's either in that direction or off to the... Yeah, no, I think it is off to the left. Yay. Just a nice, smooth glide. Burn, because we can. Some sleep herb to help out. Alright, yeah, I think it's this direction we need to go for the Scarlet Forest. Actually, I should probably check my hunter guide to see whether or not the, Nah, it doesn't look like going out for side quests and exploring will provide side quest thingamadiggy, but I betcha once we hunt something, it will. We'll see how that goes. Flashbug, thank you, and Nullberry while we're at it. Fire Shroom, another Flashbug, and then, you know what, fuck it. Grab some stone. Just so then that way we have the stone at the ready when we're at the what's-in-who's. We are now in the Scarlet Fortress. Alright. So, we're looking for Dapper Wing. This is going to be a little bit tricky, because I don't know where the Dapper Wings usually stay. Ah, we can't capture him. I thought that was a capturable species, but okay. Jewel Crystal. That one is actually a... I didn't know I could get that one. Let's see... Observing our surroundings. Oh, that looks like a Dapper Wing. Hang on a second. Oh, no, you don't. Damn it. Perch. Bitterbug. Oh, hello. There we go. Got a Dapper Wing. Get anything else? These are congas. Mushroom, zippy zap, big tasty. Cool.
Should we take a break?
Good idea.
Yep, got a good bug, gives us extractor. Terry flies, sure. Alright, so... Fast travel. So we got the Woodwood hideout. Let's head to base camp. Let's see, does the guy give us, like... Do we get a different side quest when we go to that guy? Also, hi there, Ginger Fox. Welcome to the stream. And hi there, friendly Pylon. Happy Macro March to you, too. Alright, let's see. Oh, no. This would start the fishing side quest, wouldn't it? Let's see.
Life in microcosm. Drop a line and you are in conversation with nature herself.
Really?
Where's this coming from?
Be it back home or in a forbidden land. If I see water, I know what I'm doing.
Fishing, I'm guessing.
Is it fishing?
It is! You're a sharp one. And good. I see you brought a fishing
You
rod.
prefer to be beneath said macros, but still? Okay, fair enough, fair enough.
Something one can force on another.
So...
It's about the desire.
There
the
we go.
passion.
Ding.
But do give it a try if the mood
Dong.
ever strikes you.
I have a new, so we've gone through another week of Macro March, and this is where we're at currently, 14.9 meters. We're not at the same, we've now lagged behind what I was in Macro March for 2024. I don't know what happened in 2024 to warrant, like, such a large amount of growth between the second and third week. No idea what happened, but this is where we're at right now, and I probably should have made it so that likes and retweets on the Blue Sky post would have done it, but we're already 3 weeks in, and I've already, like, you know, I've already made it where, like, a lot of the things to make him grow bigger were subs and bits, so to keep it fair, I've opened it up for coffee donations to do it. That calculation will be done after all the different streams, so whatever, like, donations were done throughout the week, I'll have a look at them on Sunday again, and then we'll do, like, the little calculations and see how we go. So yeah. Alright, fishing offers you a way to gain materials and guild points. If you see fishing shadows in bodies of water, select the fishing rod in the What's Moozy bar. Cool.
Let's report back once we're done.
Alright, so if we do... Yeah, alright, so if I
Key
do
to fishing
this...
is patience.
There we go. That's our first fish, a sushi. There we go. Come on, come on.
Time for a true master angler to shine.
Sushi fish. What other kind? Is that all there is in this area? Is just sushi fish? Come on, go for it, go for it, go for it! Yeah! I want to mention that I feel kind of awkward solely going as Pylon. Oh, well, I call you Friendly Pylon because, like, that's your username. I thought I said Friendly Pylon. Did I not say Friendly Pylon? Did I say something else? Alright, Kanya.
Welcome back, Hunter. It's fishing, not legal.
How about...
I'll hold you, if nothing else.
There we go. Yeah, da, da, da. Do I have another mission from you? Not yet, but you have given me some stuff. Oh wait,
Hail,
you do.
Fisher fellow. Are they biting today? Say no more. It's in your eyes. Lures will attract some fish. Well, others give it the cold. The lure I gave you excels at hooking golden fish.
A bit.
Golden fish favor dark pools, away from the light. Now away with you, Fisher fellow. Away.
Alright, cool. Change lures in the thingamadiggies. Cool. That is going to be for another time. But we're gonna go back to the main mission and swap out my gear once again for my main nonsense. So, change equipment. So, back over to the hammer. 28 with paralysis. I'm gonna go with the Chataclobberler. Yeah, Chataclobberer. This one gives me increase of affinity, but I don't know how well that's gonna affect me. Ding. Recommended meal. Cook only with rations. Give ourselves a nice, delicious steak. God, that looks delicious. Mm. And I don't give any to my Palico. Well, until we succeed on a hunt, at least. Alrighty, so I gotta go talk to a guy named Tashin, who is over at the ruins of Wisteria, which is most likely over at the Keeper's Vigil, I think, is where he is. Let me see how this loading goes. So yeah, if you don't mind me asking, Friendly Pylon, then, if you don't like to be, if you don't want to be solely referred to as Pylon, what would be an appropriate name to apply to you? I can't guarantee I'll remember this every time, especially if it's like, you know, long gaps between. I'll explain. It's not about what he said. It's that Pylon is a headmate, as in having separate identity thoughts and such. He's in charge of this Twitch account, and you're mostly talking with him, but we've done masking as one person. It's causing us way too much stress, confusion with others, and so... Wait, what? Friendly is a general lane. Wait, hang on, hang on. Now I have to read this a little bit further. Is a headmate. Separate identity, thoughts, and such. He's in charge of this Twitch account. I don't know if it's DID.
Can't forget supplies.
I'm gonna take a cat nap.
Also, hi there, Kiaru. Welcome to the stream.
Catch the latest news
Don't even
here.
share memories fully.
Ready to journey?
Also,
to
hi there, Sky.
capital? Right.
A little bit of what you're saying, friendly, like it sounds like as if you're not the only one who's using this Twitch account, which
This is the way down.
Kiaru mentions could be they're thinking it's a DID thing, dissociative identity disorder. What's that guy doing? What the fuck?
I've dissolved the wyvern milk's bonds. What's here in the pouch is enough for formations of this size. This same substance at a higher purity and solidified is what makes Nata's pendant.
Huh.
You're sure about this?
I have to.
It is DID because
I have to
headmate.
see for myself.
Okay, I've never heard of headmate before, like, in conversation, so I wasn't too sure. Be advised, I am himbo both on stream and IRL.
If it finds you, there's no outrunning it. Be careful.
Noted.
After you've followed the pathways, take the routes up to higher ground. You'll find sanctuary.
Thank you.
You have the vision to walk a path my people never could. I wish you luck. Travel safely.
All right. This is it.
Missed it, darn.
This must be part of the land spine. Or was it the wormway?
It's like a big tree. I've never seen a place like this.
We know the
Right,
wormway
moss,
carries the
water
Dragon
moss.
Torch's energy. So if it's converging here like this,
The dragon torch must be deep below us.
seems like a good theory.
Ah, the entangled rock does something.
These must be those roots he told us to follow up.
Go.
All right, let's get ourselves set up.
Alright, cool. So this gives us a little camp. Hi there, Star Kuma!
Perfect.
There are other ways of being
Now, everyone,
plural than
we will
DID,
begin our
but we
survey
write
of the
with them a
Guardians
lot.
here
There's
in
also
Wytheria's middle stratum.
OSDD. Yeah, I've
Our
not...
ultimate objective
All of these I've not
is
heard
where
of
in the lower
before.
stratum Arkfeld might have gone, and why.
Okay, so where do we begin?
We'll start by looking for Spore, Arkfelds, or any Guardians we can find.
Good plan. Let's get started then.
I'll stay here and hold down the fort. Come right back if you need anything.
Okay, everyone mount up.
Alright. Alrighty. So we head back out again.
Sentry. I guess they really did create whatever creatures they needed.
So, what kind of monster do you think it could be?
Well, let's see. They would have a keen nose, enough mobility to navigate any terrain.
I am not a Monster Hunter
Broad territory,
expert, so I have
and by
no
habit,
idea what monster they're
pursue its
talking about
prey
here.
relentlessly. At least, that's the sort of monster I'd put on guard.
Non-disordered plurality. Have to do this every time someone mentions DID when we when we've ruled that out thoroughly. Fair enough. Definitely is a conversation starter because of your username. I will be real with you.
This is called the monster's spore. Its shape, size, scent, and placement give us clues about the monster.
Really?
It's still fresh. Between the spore and the traits a sentry would require, we try to surmise our target.
An Odogaran, probably a subspecies.
I'm gonna guess that's an Odogaran coming up.
Quickly!
Yeah, that one looks... Oh, Ebony. Yeah, no, this one's gonna be painful.
An ebony Odogaran! It really is a guardian!
Fucked. Oh, yes! That was cool. I didn't even do that on purpose. Okay, fuck you. Don't roll in my face like that. Alright, there's a piece. Oh, I got Dragon Blight. Okay, that's not gonna be good. That's not gonna be good. Get off my Palico! Go. Got that wound on there. Oh, great. Now I'm bleeding. Shit. Come on, drink. And I don't have a good way Nice. Damn it. Did a double. I'm gonna throw an SOS flare. There we go. 2, 1. on. Alright, so Alicia's with us right now. We've got some bleeding pods on us. And we've got... Damn you. Alright, well, you made the mistake by situating yourself on an angle. Hind leg's broken. That works for me. Oh boy. Okay, let's not get ready to die so soon. Go. One.
Mounted it.
Gotcha. Get a wound in, you. There we go. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There we are. Come on. And gotcha. Alright. My goodness, you guys had a really good conversation about the OSDD and DID and such like that.
Yep.
Oh, actually, hang on. Before I go too far, I need to grab this carcass. Would be good, because this might have stuff for me. Feathers, and another feather. Okay, so not, like, hugely important, but still worthwhile. Dragonite ore. I definitely needed more Dragonite ore, and I do like that I'm getting light crystal, though. Ebony Claw Shard gives us something. Alrighty, Frost Slam, and... oh, more mining. I know we're supposed to be slaying something right now, but... there's mining outcrops, and while I was, like, making all the different upgrades to the Hope gear and such like that, to, you know, try out the different weapons and things without having to go too far into the tree and what have you, yeah, I used up, like, a lot of my Dragonite, ore, so this was kind of necessary.
Yep.
Oh, no, this way, you... there we go. And then loop him around. Come on. Where are you? There you are. And... damn. He leaped out of the way. That was short-lived, but hey, we got some of them sorted. Mega potion, please, thank you. Where the fuck did he... oh, he's gone downwards, okay. Alright. Where the fuck is he going? this Thunderpaw should be effective on him. Come on. Let's see. Oh, wait, hang on. He went down this way. My goodness. The Otogaran gets around. Jesus Christ. Oh, he's over where the Guardian Eggs are, so... Of course you ain't. Before I could. Darn. Ah! Thank goodness for the extra defense. How are you not dead yet? You have the skulls on you for the last little bit. Gotcha. That worked. I survived. The thing is, there's an annoyingly painful amount of pokes within the brain that I share. Like, we're fine with it, but it makes talking to others confusing. Noted. Gonna go, but you take care. We'll continue another time. Very busy since becoming homeless. I did not... Okay, that's news to drop on me after having an introductory hello and a discussion about, like, different personalities and what have you, just to be like, oh yeah, very busy since becoming homeless of all things. How the No, you know what? Never mind. You got things you need to do, from the sounds of it. I wish you well, and I hope you don't remain homeless.
Make room for me?
Hey!
Life is crazy, man.
Huh?
Understandable. I absolutely agree. Australia is having a very weird fucking time with the cost of living. The government has investigated Coles and Woolies, and the best they can give us is just be informed. What the fuck?
Wait for me!
What the fuck is this? Still in the cutscene. Oh, wedge bug. Calico almost made it. Calico was almost cool like me. Ew.
It's eating it.
The fuck?
I
Juwu.
don't think that's a guardian.
No, it feeds on them.
Uh-oh. Where the fuck did you go? Since when is that a feature? Oh boy.
It slipped into a crack again.
Don't let it blindside you.
Leave this to me. Heels inbound.
Alright, we got him out of his weird camp area. Dragon fell. Wedge beetle. Alrighty.
Yep.
I'll put the materials I gathered in your item box.
Cocoon fiber. Oh, okay, so we're in kind of a new spot. Uh-huh.
What do you think we'll find?
Oh, wait, am I going the right way? I don't think I am. Oh, wait, no, I am. Cool. Awesome. We just went from, like, one kind of monster to the next. This game is, like, I remember back in Monster Hunter Worlds, it's like, oh, let's head back to camp and do some research and then investigate. In this one, it's just like, oh, you got done with one monster? Here's another one. Get ready for
I'll
hands.
just hop off for now. Got it on the ground.
There we go, there we go. 3. Nice. Broke its head. Oh, no, 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 no. Fuck that. Oh boy, it hurts.
Get out of there!
Ow. Okay, no. Oh, no. Get moving, get moving, get moving.
This ought to put a dent in it.
Yeah, you do you, Cookie. Alright, I hate that it can do that. Oh, wound. 3, 4. 3. Thankfully, bludgeoning works very effectively on this guy. Alright, let me just eat some rations. And a well-done steak. wing. Duskoid wing. Nullberry? That will be very useful. I still got more bleeding pods, so...
Mind if I hop on?
Yep, you go on ahead. Here we go, and jump! Get. Ow. Nope, let's roll. Nice. Yes!
Don't get shaken off.
Come on. 3, 4, 5. There we go. Come on, finisher. There we go. Draw finisher. Yes. Go. 2, 3, 4.
Now's our chance. Power up.
Come on. Slide down. Why am I not sliding down? Pick it up.
Leave this to me. Heels inbound.
Well, that didn't work as effectively as I hoped. Where the fuck did he go? Jesus. I hate that they can do that. Can I? Nope, can't jump down there. I'm gonna need to have it do the auto move. I like that I'm able to, like, you know, do effective damage onto it because I'm, you know, a hammer user as opposed to, like, something with a sharp blade, but... Jesus, man, like... Yeah, I got at least 1 point into the great sword. Alright. And then... Boom. Okay, so he's back in there. I'm gonna need to be careful of his, like, whole hiding in places thing. Oh, boy. Going. Come on, get out of there. Get over here. Wasn't enough. Hammer go bong. Hi there, Jugs. Trying not to die right now. There we go. And jump. Gotcha. Oh, I probably should be healed. Come on. No! I was in the middle of healing! Damn it. Oh, this is gonna be a bit of a trek.
Are you okay? Back-to-back hunts with no rest would take a toll on anyone.
I was
For
close.
another go. I made sure you have extra supplies for this one.
I was close. I could have done
Take
it.
a second to restock your supplies before heading out.
At least it's only a feint and not like a full-on failure, so...
What do you think we'll find?
Nah, okay, so I do need to go this way. Damn it. Come on, faster. Need to head back to that weird thingamadoog. Get rid of the Dragonfell Berry. Alright, so that's fine. Hey! Alright, Mighty Seed. Thank you. Origin thingamadiggy. Alright, here we go.
On my way there.
I don't think flash pods are going to be effective. So...
Can't go back after riding one of these.
Alright. Right. Then we head this way. Gosh darn it. I'm going to be annoyed if it's like, if I'm about to like jump on it and it's going to...
Nimble as a cat, fierce as a cat.
Three. I thought I dodged that, but okay. And then... Ah! One.
Leave this to me. Heels inbound.
Damn it. Ah! Goodness, this thing gives me like insta heals. Oh, hello. I see wounds on you.
Look out.
There we go. Shame that I fainted at least once from that, but I didn't know about the sushi fish until now, so you know, accidents happen. A Zhu tentacle. Uppies! Uppies for the Palico. Where are you story-wise? Here. I just took on a Guardian Ebony Odogaron, and then I just took on this Zhu. So I'm at, like, I think it's chapter 3 right now. Adaptability skill and ice attack. So yeah, I fainted one time, unfortunately. Although, hey, not too bad. It took me 15 minutes to go through that guy.
You handled those back-to-back hunts like a champ. We came out of it with valuable new info, too.
Back-to-back hunts, fainting only once. So, yeah.
That was something else. Who'd have expected a monster that preys on guardians?
It's probably like...
It didn't even hesitate, and it seemed to know its way around the capital. Where to hunt. It certainly didn't get that way overnight.
Would have definitely have been like as a response.
You think Guardians have established themselves into Iveria's ecosystem somehow?
More like the Wyveria ecosystem has reacted to the Guardian.
Sure. But I'd say that theory has some traction.
And Arkveld has too.
If it preys and gets preyed on, then it's just like any other monster.
The last time we saw it, it was headed further down.
Well, we've driven off the threat. Perhaps it's time we brave the lower stratum.
I'm game. Let's go.
You know where I am? You didn't want to assume? Not to worry. Well, thank you for dropping it in and checking out where I'm going so far. Other than that, you know, one whatsamahoozy feint, so far I've been doing fine. The only time I failed a mission was during the
Say the word.
was during the fire monkeys thing. Put together a new mantle. Think you're gonna get good use out of it. Mending mantle. That sounds kind of good. All right. Also gonna pick up this thing, and let me just, you know, go into the entangled canopy and like update my transfer items because I'm probably holding on to. Yeah, I'm holding on to way too many things. Screamer and flash pods, trank bombs, and not. Yeah, put those away. And then... Yeah, this is going to expire in like 10 seconds, so... Yep, let's do some finishing touches. And drizzle a little honey on it. Oh! It's delicious! This looks so fucking good! Increase in stamina, increase in attack, elemental resistances, medic meal, a balanced meal, and is a piping hot meal. I am going to need way more materials and, like, ingredients, but it is what it is. Alrighty, Nada, you ready to get going?
Are you ready to go look for Arkveld?
Abso-fucking-lutely. Let's head out.
Too.
Sword and shield, glaive main yourself, so up front or up high, depending on the need.
Just like any other monster now?
Back to bat, always sharpen and heal before your quest ends.
Sure.
Yep.
It's too soon to say.
Good morning, Izzy. Welcome to the stream. How's it going?
Come on, Nata.
Actually, no, you just got out of bed, so your day is just starting. You're probably thinking about breakfast right now.
To the lower stratum.
You just missed out on me cooking in this game as well. Actually, I've got some raw meat, so we'll cook that, you know, at some point. Wait, which way are we going? Oh, this way.
Hunter,
okay.
I've been thinking a lot about the Keepers and the Guardians. The wyvern milk kept the Guardians asleep in their cocoons, chained up.
What?
But the Keepers have been changed too. By the duty we've upheld for 1,000 years. And Arkveld came and broke it all apart. But it freed itself. with its own strength. It even learned to eat. It didn't care how it was created. It just wanted to be free, to live.
Sure,
This
kid.
journey has made me something more. I've seen vast sands, lush forests, people, life. Arkfeld and I are the same. It broke the chains that were holding me and my people back. I'm sure of it.
Okay, maybe, kid, but you and Arkfeld are not the same, alright? Let's just solve that little... Like, I get the metaphor you're trying to have of, like, you know, life finds a way and people can change and what have you, but do not look to Arkfeld as your inspo.
I think it's blood.
I imagine some of it is fresh as well, so we're probably gonna get attacked by something.
I don't like this place at all.
Also, I should probably change my Palico's gear at some point. Guardian Serikits with Wyvern. Yeah.
Some are rotting. Some fresh.
Thank you for the head pats. I greatly appreciate it.
All of them?
Oh. There he is.
Why?
There's a reason these animals get extinct.
Predatory behavior. It's destructive. We can't let this go on.
There's no other way.
What do you mean?
I'm sorry.
This kid has had it like
Arkfeld
a
has
180.
become a threat to the continued existence of this ecosystem. It must be put down.
No! Please. Please!
Nata.
If anyone should be angry, it's me.
Yeah.
And I hate that it happened. But this is the first thing it ever got to decide for itself. To be free. To live strong.
And now it's destroying a fucking ecosystem.
Don't do this. I'm begging you.
It can't control itself.
The path we must take is clear.
For the continued preservation of this ecosystem, the Guild authorizes you to slay the Guardian Arkfeld.
Acknowledged.
Alright.
No, please!
This is why you and Arkfeld are not the same, Nata.
Another way. It finally got its chance to live!
It woke up and chose violence. It is an extinct species. It is causing some problems.
Arkfeld's lost control. It's gone berserk. Don't let your guard down.
You got it!
Let me just call an SOS. Or it's just gonna fuck up my day. Never mind. Gotcha. Seriously, no wounds yet? Oh boy. Please be weak to dragon! Please be weak to dragon! Divine blessing for that one, but sure. Ow.
I'll see you back in camp.
Hi there, Minzy. I am fighting a Guardian Arkveld. Nata was complaining so much because they're like, oh, the Arkveld gets to live. And it's like, yeah. And it's just, and it woke up and chose violence for its existence. We are not going to let that stand. I am not an environmentalist sort of hunter, but yeah, I'm sticking to this kind of mindset. Is there any wounds on it? Seriously? No wounds? Jesus. Oh boy.
Come on, you're better than this.
Oh boy. I'm going to need to get out of here. That was a very close, heals. Thank you. Use you real quick. Oh! Wound on its head. Gotcha. Come on, Roscoe. This real quick. Thank you. Oh, Wyvern thingy-majiggy will be a lot better. There we go. Moon filter. Sorry, just in case I need that. What? That was not a good job. Wounding this thing was hard. Yeah, it does seem a little bit difficult.
Easy now.
Oh, he's got movement with the whips. And a roar. That's not good. That's not good! Fuck out of there. heal up, heal up, heal up, heal up! That was not what I wanted to have happen. Or that. Just run into the fucking thingy-majiggies, please. There we go, you idiot. Oh, I see it. I see it in its face. Gotcha. Alright. Getting there. Got very good at blocking it. Sounds like blocking is going to be a bit of a requirement. Shots. Cocoon fiber. Come on, Sarakit. We gotta get moving. Well, that wasn't me then. Oh, where's its... I saw... Oh, no, it's just enraged right now, hence the red. I thought I saw a wound. Probably needed a better weapon, but it will do. Hi there, Drac Dragon. Welcome back to the streams. It's been a bit. Ow. Ow. Thank Christ for divine blessing. Divine Blessing is helping me so much right now. Oh, it didn't help me there. fuck was that kind of move? Oh, he's not even, like, being super aggressive. This is just his normal level of aggression.
Easy now.
Come on. Let me just get a hit on you. Oh, no, 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 no. Police brutality! Police brutality!
Hit with everything.
I have it as like a thing. It was like, if a monster grapples me, I'm just like using the auto message police brutality. Now he's angry. Chain shards. Glowing something or other. Smoke nut. Kinda helps. Moon fibers? Alrighty, Sarah Kit. Hello, Wild Saber. You were already in here. Why are you using the hello? Oh, yes! I didn't know I could do that, but yeah. Three. Don't make me bald. You're not in?
Did you see it?
Wait, what do you mean you're not in? Oh, you mean you're not... on his last legs? Yep, so am I. Ow. Fuck you. I still don't see any wounds on him to exploit.
Easy now.
Jesus fucking Christ! He's just pulling out all the stops now, isn't he? And you still don't have a wound on you, you motherfucker! Yep, chain blade broken, thank you. Let's aim for that head. He's down to like 10% or something like that at this point.
Seems that did the trick.
Don't die, Roscoe. Gotcha! Thankfully, I did not die. I think Nergigante from World prepared me for these kinds of endurance fights. You know, I don't know, maybe for me? I did go through Worlds. I haven't finished Worlds because, Rajang has been absolutely fucking painful. Alright, I think that's everything. Yay. Did it! I survived. Alright, so we got ourselves Guardian Scales, some Guardian Bones, some Nourishing Extract, Guardian Pill. A lot of Guardian nonsense. They all just, like, combine into their own thing, don't they? I'm glad I used my voucher. And I got myself 4 new titles to try out. Stretching. Big stretch. Big stretch. Well, yeah, because, what's-a-mahoozy? Monster Hunter Rise is a mobile game. It's a, well, I say mobile. What I mean is that it was normally on the lineup of, like, the DS's and the Switch in this regard. So, it was a little more on, like, you know, enjoying the combat and what have you. And, like, trying out experimental, like, a lot more faster sort of movement and attacks.
Confused. Why did Arkfeld come here?
Obviously. Good question.
The Guardians.
This is where the Dragon Torch is supposed to be, right? We already know that Arkfeld was drawn to powerful sources of elemental energy it could harvest.
And this was the mother lode?
Maybe, despite feeding, it still had impulses as a guardian. Either way, I guess we'll never know. Wyveria's energy source. In a way, it's the very heart of this land's ecosystem.
Kind of like the Royal in, Zendikar.
I wanna go to the Dragon Torch. It's the last piece of the puzzle. What Arkfeld was after. I need to know.
Let's look for a way forward.
Huh? Hey! Over here!
Alright, where is it taking us? Did I get some supplies from the map? Oh, sorry, I missed a lot of people's messages there. Hey, there's the logo for Monster Hunter Wilds again.
Look.
Cookie for Drac Dragon. Here's your cookie. Ooh, what's behind there?
It, right? But something's taken it over.
Question is, what
Can't be. A guardian?
Maybe. I have no fucking ideas. I'm lost.
What? The Dragon Torch? Taken over by...
Whatever that thing possessing it was, had looked ready to awaken at any moment.
What is it?
It is Xochitl. Wyveria created it as their final line of defense.
This is the very guardian that doomed the capital.
We thought it fell dormant. But if it's been drawing energy directly from the Dragon Torch the whole time...
We can't leave it unchecked. Surely there's some way to deal with it.
Without exception, a guardian cut off from its energy supply will die. If we put a stop to the Dragon Torch, Xochitl will perish too.
But the entire Eastlands are sustained by the energy from the Dragon Torch. If we stop it...
It would affect all life in this region as we know it.
So,
Tell
just
me
a
how
normal
you stop
beatdown.
the Dragon Torch.
Nata's pendant. As part of our deep knowledge of this energy, we possess a substance to counteract it. Nata's pendant is an extremely concentrated mass of that countervailing power. It was his father's role to stop the Dragon Torch in a time of crisis.
So that's the trick.
Yeah, don't take it.
Calm down. Nata, that pendant is a memento from your father. What do you want to do?
I don't know.
Unleash its power, and this land will be wiped out. The Keepers know the Torch and Guardians better than anyone. Advice would be welcome.
Us?
Well, yeah, you've been living here
Our
for like
forefathers
a
knew
while.
little. As for us, we know as much as you. Simple observers have no right to decide the fate of the world.
So,
This is kind of funny to me because it's like annoyed me so bad through this. Yes, no, Nata annoyed me too, quite frankly. I don't know, like just something about characters that are like trying to invoke agency but have no agency themselves is like,
we must.
I don't know.
The Dragon Torch.
Whoa, hold on. After we investigate. We don't have all the information.
You're idiots to throw it away. The world will never see such innovation again.
Says the man who has seen what these menaces are capable of. Or shall we wait for the worst?
Then let me study it, see how it works. Then do what you want. Easy.
Easy's no word to just throw around. This will destroy their natural order.
You're almost at the end of the quote-unquote... Oh, so almost at the end of low rank.
Rooted.
But at least they won't be dead.
That may be true, but the comparison's not that simple.
Seriously, like what right do we even have? We can't just march in as outsiders and decide.
Right.
We've already done that like one
We're
time
running
as
out of
well.
time.
Back in the like
The lives
oil
involved take
region.
priority. It'll be my sword to fall on, and I will. I can take the pendant.
I'll do it. I'll stop the Dragon Torch.
Nata.
It's what my father would have wanted. This is my role.
I admire your resolve.
I just can't get it out of my head that we're in a quote-unquote forbidden land, which is, you know, a region that is beyond our scope of civilization, but, you know, where their ancient civilization is, and there's natives there living already that have kind of lived cohabitatively with the monsters that have been here, and we come in as outsiders with armor and weapons and, you know, the means of destroying monsters and what have you. This just screams to me, like, oh, European forces entering America. It just screams to me that. So when they have moments of like, oh, we're outsiders, what right do you have to decide? And it's like, technically speaking, none. But will we be the people that are instigating it? Abso-fucking-lutely. So, and of course, we have a child who has been indoctrinated by us, because he was with us for years. He was with the Keepers, ran the fuck away, stayed with us in like the known realm, and then there's an expedition now to go to the Forbidden region, and yeah, lo and behold, he's following our sort of mindset of like, oh hey, we need to think about the lives and all this kind of nonsense, rather than like, you know, seconding on like, you know, the natives. 1 year, not years. Oh. Okay. Maybe he's not that impressionable. What do you want, Nada?
Hunter, if we don't stop the Dragon Torch, Xochitl will awaken, right? And if it does, terrifying things
He's a
might
professor, not military or anything like that.
This is
I
what
understand that the hunters are not a
I'm
military.
supposed to do.
But does that really matter when you're going into a region that doesn't have massive fucking weapons and you're all walking around with weapons capable of killing guardians and shit? Like, do you get where my mind is tracing on this? On, like, the whole, just, like, the undertones going on here? Like, I get Monster Hunter from the start till the end is always been an environmentalist game. Because, like, we don't hunt monsters willy-nilly. We hunt monsters that are a danger to the ecosystem, and we're doing what we can to preserve it and keep it alive, so then that way there isn't, like, an extinction event or anything like that. They did that in Worlds, they're doing that here as well. It's just, you know, kind of funny that as a game mechanic, it's like, yeah, you're hunting monsters, which means you can do it a lot of times.
Terrifying.
Nona really had a scare.
At least in Worlds, you had admirals and actual military mindset, not just people wanting to learn. I think in Worlds, it was technically still, like, it was fleets going to the new world, but it was still, like, you know, they were still, like, education and such. It wasn't, like, hugely military. If it was hugely military, they would not care about the monsters full stop, and they would just be plowing through them. Instead of the whole, like, you know, researching eco and, you know, endemic life and such.
I'm sorry for not listening when we found Raydao. The red water? Triple gangers?
A fire spring was so exciting.
So, yeah.
Humans, Wudwuds, monsters, we're just trying our best. The Guardians, too. Especially them. Before meeting you all, I really didn't know anything.
You still don't know anything.
It's time the Keepers see their mission through.
Alright, let's... So I guess we're breaking open this giant cocoon right now.
Won't take much to wake it up.
The dragon torch. To think that little pendant can stop it.
Well, it's a counter agent, so I imagine it's like a poison pill to the system that Dragon Torch is using. So... Am I gonna do it for him?
We don't have to do this.
What?
There's one other option.
Oh, we're just gonna fight it?
Hunter, are you sure? Right. It's worth a shot, isn't it?
Yeah, let's do it!
Did I fight Xeno'jiiva in World? Yes, I did. I've gone through Worlds. I've gone through Iceborne. I'm currently in, like, the post-Iceborne stuff. I've not gone back to Iceborne in a while, though. Don't get me wrong, because, you know, now we have this game. I do not remember having that sword, but sure.
by my own order. I will slay Xochitl.
And that's not even a guardian, it's just Xochitl. Alright, so I broke its right wing. Yep. Broke its crystallized head.
Be careful.
Alright, let's...
Snap out of it!
Its crystals are regenerating. We need to attack them before that happens.
Oh boy.
Leave this to me! Heels inbound!
Oh, so he's the guardian instead of a guardian class, then. Fine. Go. Probably I'm gonna need a
Hey! Get out of there!
Probably should have called an SOS. I'm not doing too hot. Because yeah, he's already regenerated like all of his limbs. And I'm not doing too good on his hind legs. Oh boy. Remember, your supplies are in your mouth. Ah, yeah. Oh, interesting. I didn't know Thunder would do that to them, but that works. That's good to know about the Thunder. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. now he's got his little cover on his head! No, I wasn't behind the tent, did I? Wyvern milk is highly explosive. Noted. Come on, over here, over here. You want to head over here. Come on, this way, this way, this way, this way! Oh, so it does it based off of the element. Okay.
Time to go on the offensive.
It's based off of the element you do, then. Okay, it's not just, you know, explosive of its own right. Brought a foreleg. Nice. Oh, it's not a crystalline foreleg either. It's a...
Be careful! Everyone's angry!
Oh. Alright, let me just roll so I'm not on fire all the time. There we go. Damn it. Crystallized again before I could do anything. Although I don't know how I did that. Know there was a wound there, but okay. 2, 3, 4. Stop roaring in my face!
It's doing something to the area. Not good!
Where the fuck do I go from here? Okay, I'm gonna go behind here.
It's like an inferno!
It's behaving differently. Be careful!
Oh, it's got thing. Also, hi there, unnamed. Right now I'm fighting a big monster. Uh-oh, 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 uh-oh. alive.
Nice!
There we go. Come on. Gotcha. Wound on your back, which I'm not gonna get to easily. Oh boy, no, no, no. Don't deal with the explosions. This isn't a tutorial boss. Let me just break your fucking head, please. Actually, is there a wound in there? Oh, no. Let's get out. Let's get out. Let's get out. Let's get out. So now you got a protection on your head again. Come on, get knocked out. Nope. Alright, fine. Something to be able to shoot him in the head. Nope. Alrighty, let's keep knocking him.
Get a load of these claws!
That must mean... No, there's no way.
What the fuck? Get out, get out, get out, get out. Oh, now it's looking weak. moving, get moving, get moving, get moving! You can't steal my shirt when there's a fight going off. I need it for my protection. Oh, hello.
It's leaking energy. Now's our chance.
Any wounds on it, which is a problem. No, do not get caught up with its tail. Oh no 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 no. With the dragon. No, that ain't good. That ain't good. That ain't good. Don't have honey. Do I have anything in my supplies? First aid med, that will do. Nope. That's not good. Get moving, get moving, get moving!
Leave this to me! Heels inbound!
Thank you for the heals. I appreciate it. Way of Dragon Pod. There we go. That'll do. Come on. Drop some more, Will. Wait, am I out of... Oh, shit. Oh, wound? I see it. Gotcha. Fragment is over there. It's got nothing under there. Oh, Thunder Cyst, thank you. Daddy! Right in the nard! Get fucked in the nard! Hi everyone, welcome to the stream. I did it. Me. GrantZeebs. I did it solo as well. I didn't throw off an SOS. Oh wait, no, I think I did try throwing an SOS. Did I try throwing an SOS? I can't remember. It's really good to the end of the toe, but felt to Worlds, Nergigante, then Xenogerba. This is the first fight that you felt was real? Every one of you is just like, oh, now the fun really begins. And I was like, this felt like a real good endgame boss. What the fuck are you talking about? Yay. I survived. Sausage! And then the Saraket takes it and doesn't give two hoots. Guardian nonsense, armor spheres, Guardian nonsense. Full reward, no feints, almost leveled up the Palico, and I have obtained 4 new titles. Don't forget the left arrow pulls up your Sarakit's inventory that has heals. Yeah, I was pulling that up once or twice. So, yeah. Did it! A Sarakit can be called as soon as you get knocked down. Nice. So yeah, I don't have to like be back up again. Like if I'm getting fallen, then it's like, yeah, you blow the whistle, and then as you're still on the ground, the Sarakit can pick you up. Hi, Dazzy! Welcome to the stream. I imagine I've finished low rank, because that's what it feels like. It feels like Zora Magdaros back in Worlds, where it was like, oh, there you go. There's your low rank out of the way. Yeah. At one point, I'm gonna need to upgrade my Palico's gear.
Tashin! Tashin!
Wait a...
My boy!
The native, in absolute awe that we've been able to defeat what would be seen as a god to them.
Found another way. You hunters are incredible.
Yeah, because we hunt monsters!
Shows a path that we never could.
Tashin, we can choose. Arkfeld chose too. It found its own way to live. So did the other Guardians. And now, it's time for the Keepers to step away from duty and truly live.
Just be wary, because your Sarakit can get stuck in a corner. Oh, I imagine so.
Thank you for everything.
Yeah. Grant's so angry they don't get weapons. Why am I so angry that they don't have... Oh, the natives don't have weapons, because they're just sort of like, oh yeah, like... They're just sort of like, yeah, we just live one with nature and all this kind of nonsense, and it's like, well, in actuality, like, you very well can just... Wait, the credits?! Oh, it's revealing, Anne Orlando. I did not realize the credits would be popping up this quickly. That spire looks like there's a dragon head. Alright, who's responsible for the large creature designs? Lead gimmick designer. Tutorial designer, dialogue. Lead, facility, quest. Nah, they're not there. The game is actually... Oh, the game's... Like, here's the thing. The credits are rolling, that is true, but there's free title updates that go off in this game, and what's more is that there's even more monsters that come out after the initial launch before they even release, like, an expansion. So now it's like, you know, we've gone through low rank, and now we enter into, like, you know, an uncapped hunter rank. Alright, I don't think I'm gonna see whoever designed the fucking spiders, so fuck that. There's a bunch of new monsters in high rank and quite a few old faves. Yeah, like, I remember Rathalos. That one was a Guardian one. And plus, isn't there, like, a subplot where, like, some of the creatures are getting infected or some shit? Yay.
So they found the Keeper's village.
Post-credit scene, let's go.
Unraveled the mystery of the White Wraith. They even managed to see the boy home safe. Truly impressive.
He reminds me of the Admiral back in Worlds without, like, the Super Saiyan Rajit hair.
To learn that it was artificial life.
The Guardian Arkveld scoured the land for a more lucrative energy source. By absorbing the properties of those sources, it was able to achieve a higher state of living.
Unfortunately, after learning predation, it became unable to control its intake of wyvern milk. Intoxicated by the surplus of energy, it descended into madness.
Thank you for the
These were
recap.
the findings of the expedition.
Yes, sir. But this report has just come in.
Wyveria's ultimate guardian, Zoshia, awoke from its resting place.
Endeavor from... Oh, My Hero Academia. Okay, I thought you were saying Monster Hunter something else.
To evolve itself. And by doing so, threw the weather of the surrounding regions into disarray. Cognizant of the long-term repercussions, Avis Unit made the agonizing decision to put Zoshia to rest. A life-altering end. Just as Alma said, that hunter is something else.
Well, I know we're gonna get a, Final
if I
Fantasy
may.
Monster Hunter crossover.
Why do you think the people of Wyveria created the Guardians? For what purpose would they endanger themselves with monsters like Zoshia?
Ah! Yeah, Bahamut.
Not dishonor them with conjecture.
And it looks like it's going to be like the Final Fantasy 16 Bahamut, which looks like a fucking, like, you
details
know,
require
capital
finesse,
city ender.
It seems the door is open to diplomatic overtures between East and West. The Guild, I know, is eager to open communications with the Forbidden Lands.
No. We will hold off. Should that branch be extended, it must be from them.
He says, as he himself is ready to go to the Forbidden Lands.
More importantly, this dragon torch, was it? Uncontrollable energy, upon which an entire ecosystem depends. They intend to continue their research on it, and the artificial monsters.
While it's safe for now, the Dragon Torch and Guardians are in a precarious balance. there are worries surrounding its artificial nature.
My take is this. Both mankind and their creations play a role in the ecosystem. If nothing else, nature will always surpass humanity's expectations. This expedition was not seen through without flaw. But, so long as there are hunters, we can handle whatever may come.
Yay! Oh, no! Oh, look at Nata.
Alma! Hunter! Is it true?
No idea what he's talking about.
Come on.
Hi there, Jack. Welcome to the stream. Are you working today? Yoshi said he would like to add Bahamut to Wilds. I thought he said he wanted to put like a more difficult monster from Wilds into Final Fantasy. It was something, or no, I think it was the other person that was like, oh, they would like to make the Final Fantasy like crossover event more difficult.
Bigger.
I'm sorry?
Bigger.
There's eggs?
Pull the lever, Ronk.
Bigger.
It's Arcvelds.
Which means that the Guardians that previously did not need
Bigger.
to eat and did not need to breed, turns out they can eat and they can breed. Oh boy, Nata.
Bigger.
All that emotion for nothing.
Bigger.
Jeff Goldblum. It's B-L-U-M.
Bigger.
Bigger. Bigger.
Bigger.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
Bigger.
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 Ba 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 da da. Yay! Completed the mission Monster Hunter. And we get ourselves some new pendants.
Good morning. Did you have a
Pull
good
the
rest?
lever, Ronk.
Cap has been increased.
Arrived while you were sleeping. Olivia has returned too. What do you say we stop by the command tent when we get the chance?
He's a provisional apprentice hunter. He might finally be useful. Oh my goodness, Santiago, the fuck? This man just dripping in drip. I've heard the stories, Ava's unit hunter, right? If half of it's true. Blah, blah, blah. Sorry, manners, I captained the expedition support. Word is, this will take a while. The higher-ups figured you'd need to beef up your provisioning, so they deployed us here. I'll be making supply runs back and forth from here on. If you see it, my mug around, the ship's in. Nice! We can request things. I'd like to see what you got going on.
Anything you like. How about ya?
Alright, so we can get Mega Potion, Deodorant. We can get the Assault Conga. Why would I spend Lucia and the cells so we can buy 2 of them?
It's all yours.
Deodorant, energy drinks. We got plenty of Mega Potions, honestly.
All right.
Let's go with medicinal
Look forward
items.
to the next shipment.
Alrighty. Sup, Tom, you tomato head. The deliveries have been piling up. I'll see what doesn't fit in your pouch makes it into the item
I'll
box.
have more ready for next time.
So yeah, did you know that, like, Tom, his hat looks like a tomato. Look at it. Look at that little tomato hat.
Catch the latest news here.
Assist. Let's see. What limited bounties can you give me? I have not met the necessities for those. Meowdy. Alright, in the Scarlet Forest... Oh, I can... That looks cool. Oh, you can customize the tent. Nice. I like that.
We'll have that done in 2 shakes. Drop by and...
Your cat's name is Radar. I just go for Cookie, because, you know, Cookie. I don't have a cat of my own, so I wasn't, like, replicating a cat in the game.
I've confirmed the endemic life, and with that, the Scarlet Forest...
Are you two and...
No, this is official guild research.
Yay. So I finished that one, which means I can probably talk to you, and you want something collected from the Whatsamahoosies, don't you? So that was Salmon's. Dahil doesn't look like he has anything for me. Olivia's got something for me. Also, armor from Monster Hunter Worlds. This would have been like the 5th, like, Guardian Fleet or whatever. Oh. Nata's got something for me, does he?
Hi.
Got something here from my village, and I'd like you to have it. Uncle Tashin told me he was grateful to you for breaking the chains that bind us. I'm sure there's more to it than I'm understanding, but I feel the same way. Take it as a thank you. I have received the Dragon Torch Wings Pendant. Nice. Let me just double check my hunter. Alright, so I've had the longsword for 4 sessions, and my hammer is still crazy amounts. Is Kingston like the cookies, so we name our cat similarly. Your Palico is Radar, and her name is from the MASH clerk Radar. Ah, I remember Radar. He's fun. Great show. If you have not seen MASH, highly recommend you watch it. It's a good show. You're gonna have a wonderful time. Actually, I'll put the dung away. Manage resources. Register loadout. There we go. Yeah, not too much change there. My meal is still good for a little while longer. MASH or Mashal? MASH. M-A-S-H. Mobile Army... Service Hospital. So, it's got Alan Alda and such. It's based during the Korean War, and I think the interesting, like, or sort of the funny bit is that because it was released, like, once a week, it technically went on almost longer than the actual length of the Korean War that it's based on. Alrighty, Olivia, what do you got for me?
Good. I'm glad to see everyone is doing well.
Yes.
If you haven't heard, we have a distinguished visitor. Shall we meet and discuss our next steps?
That's why I'm here.
He's inside.
Good luck upgrading all those weapons. Look, I just wanted the Hope weapons to be up to like 3 or 4. So then that way when I go up against like Frog Fella again, like on more than one occasion, I can get that out of the way.
To be in such accomplished company. You've done truly well. I'm also enjoying this return to fieldwork, even if only to serve as the guild's envoy.
An envoy, sir?
Yes, because he's gonna try and colonize this area with
ones out here carrying on
negotiations.
research.
that doesn't mean the guild isn't listening. The professor is here as their representative.
We've been estranged for too long. It's past time we reacquainted ourselves.
Yes, sir. And if there's ever a way I can help with that, I hope you'll let me.
I welcome your insights. As one familiar with both worlds, will you continue to aid Avis Unit?
Oh yeah, Corporal Klinger.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I'll do my best.
Forgive me for being direct, sir. But what exactly are the Guild's views on the investigation ahead?
We have two priorities. First, investigating the state of the Dragon Torch, absent Zoshia's presence. Second, an accounting of any effects on the local ecology here as a consequence of that change. And the area surrounding Sild. Astrum Unit, namely Eric and Werner, will focus their efforts there. Surveying the other regions is a task for Avis Unit. You've seen more of these lands than anyone.
Understood, sir.
Likewise.
Maybe you should make the full Hunter Quimeras offer to really sell the colonizer bit? Oh, absolutely. Give me a few. Let me do that. Once I'm out of the cutscene.
Very good. If any of us discovers something, reach out to the others. I'll be counting on you all.
I wasn't even paying attention in this cutscene, I'm so sorry. Oh, as in high rank. Oh, shit.
All right, let's
Oh, we're in another camp this time.
Look around for any signs of change to the ecosystem.
Not the plains
Right.
that we were in just before.
But we still don't know what we'll find out there.
All right. Please be careful.
Then we're off. Come and speak to me once you're ready.
Chapter 4, new ecosystems. And we get ourselves a log-on bonus.
Well, what
Excellent.
can I do for you?
New quest events available for Hunter rank 9. Hunter rank 21 plus, Hunter rank 9 plus. Cool.
Yep.
Alright, oh, you don't have recommendations? Interesting. You don't give me recommendations anymore.
Anything catch your eye?
Alright, we don't have a flame sack. Forge or upgrade
making
weapons.
today?
Let's have a look. So we've already got the jail hammer. Ooh. Ah, it's a -10, but it gives us... Gives us 2 levels of focus, gives us 2 decoration slots. It's a lot stronger. Then we got bone, that can go up to bone 3, Nupono. And then we got Balar over here, that can go to 780.
Look good. Alrighty.
What weapons you running? Just hammer? I'm mainly just hammer. I've been swapping out my secondary weapons to, like, you know, even out like my hunter profile chart so it shows like 10 weapons each at the minimum.
Perfection.
So, but that's something I can do like offline because what it involves is me going after the frog time and time and time again.
Subar. Ready to get to work?
I'll just have that at the ready.
Alrighty. Perfection.
Alright. Let's have a look at armors. Alright, so we got Guardian Argvel, Jesus. Zhu Wu looks pretty cool. And then we've got Ebony. I don't like the blue going off with the Rathalos. What the fuck does Guardian Sarek? Oh, it gives me Jump Master, and then it can give me a Wilk Burst if it wants. Yep. Wait, did they change these tails and jewels and ridges and... Oh, I am so close to just putting on the entire...
Subar?
Just layers upon layers. What does Decimator do? Let's see, reduces your elemental blights. Restores a moderate amount of health when destroying a wound on a large monster. And so that's if it's on 4. And then Guardian Pulse. I don't know what Guardian Pulse is. Oh, so 4 pieces makes it so I restore on, like, destroying things. And increases recovery speed and stamina in red section when near Wilk crystals. Okay, that one's a weird circumstance, I'm gonna be real with you. Zhuwu Fang, which I don't really have enough of. Real stealthy looking motherfucker, isn't he? Stamina Surge and Max Might. Bleed, Burst. Burst and Bleed. Bleeding and Burst. Okay. Oh wait, hang on, I was...
Subar?
Weakness, Exploit, and Intimidator. That's pretty good. Iron Skin and Marathon Mounter. That would honestly probably be good for Hunter nonsense, for my hammer nonsense. Speed Eating. Constitution and Latent Power. I don't know how I feel about those. Peak Performance and what's in the Uzi? Heartbreaker. Yeah, I think that's why I went for the leggings there. And then if I went for 3 of them, I can do a Fortify using... Yeah, I would need a 3rd piece for the Fortify, which would be... probably the Helm? Yeah. I don't have the pieces for that just yet.
Catch your eye?
Where Forge Palico equipment, there we go. Oh my god, the combat is ridiculous. The fuck is this?
Subar?
Guardian Arkveld. I am gonna give him this. That is honestly a pretty good weapon. It has lower affinity, sure. But unless, so that does water. This does dragon and 20%. Jesus. But I like giving him the, I'm gonna give him the big sword. I'm gonna give him the Berserk sword.
Alrighty. Perfection.
My god, my Palico is gonna go so hardcore.
Meow! This is great!
ready to work. Alrighty. Perfection.
Yep, you equip that right now. Look at his little feetsies.
I'm ready to work. Alrighty. Perfection.
There we go. This will be good. Zhu makes me think we could get a Kaiju number 8 collab since it looks like Kaiju number 9. I don't know if we'd get a Kaiju number 8 collab. I feel like mangas, you're gonna have a very hard time trying to get, you know... Mangas and animes, I feel like, are gonna be a very difficult one to do with Capcom. Alrighty. Actually... Oh wait, no, I've already done my inventory thingamadiggy earlier.
Shall we head out? Or did you have another quest in mind?
Let's head out.
Perfect.
Let's
Begin our
go!
investigation.
Let's go. Capcom has done multiple Monster Hunter manga. Yeah, they've done multiple Monster Hunter manga. What I mean is that they've not done a collab with an anime into Monster Hunter is what I'm saying.
Kinda strange seeing the entirety of the...
Like, Yokai Watch has not been done in Monster Hunter. It's been done in Final Fantasy, but not in Monster Hunter.
Even if this surge is temporary, it's hard to imagine the effect of all this on the ecosystem.
Which just makes the prospect of investigating all the juicier, no?
Oh yeah.
Up ahead. Woodwoods.
Hello, Woodwoods.
The forest is happy, the Woodwoods are happy.
Creatures are eating and the forests are moving. Everything big happy now. Cool.
Wonder what would have happened if we'd stopped?
I couldn't even begin to imagine. That thing is far beyond our understanding.
Agreed.
Wait.
At some point, we'll have to put our heads together with the Astrum unit and figure it out.
Doing the Yokai Watch a service by shouting that series out along with the 5 fans. Shout out to the enjoyers of Yokai Watch. How does it feel having the biggest relevance being from Final Fantasy XIV? You're basically Pokemon with myth. Alright, let me get back on my... Let me see. Just whipping everything.
I see. An egg.
Egg, eggy, egg, egg, eggy, egg, big yummy egg.
It's almost as if the forest is more alive than usual.
It's a season of plenty. Wild Saber, you're kind of missing the point. I'm not talking about Monster Hunter going into other mediums. That's not what I was talking about. What I was talking about was other mediums so other IPs going into Monster Hunter, and normally those that are in the
Interesting.
the ones that are usually like, for example, like anime and manga don't normally go into it. Mega Man, Resident Evil, The Witcher, those have gone into it. Oh, Devil May Cry, that's another one. Normally, it's video game IPs get referenced.
All right.
Let me just get these bones. Quality bone. There we go. Sturdy, quality bone. There we go. Oh, this tree. Okay. And then climbing up again to this big tree.
Is that...
You help! Red One's big trespass!
Red ones?
Can you describe these red ones?
Many, many red ones, floppy, fluffy wings, big fire from beak!
Just going off of that description, I'd be tempted to say she means a Yeon Kutku. But they're normally territorial, so it's kind of odd that so many would gather together.
Well, Yeon Kutku do prefer forests, so maybe we've just found our first anomaly.
Firebeak! Many! This way!
Well, I guess she wants us to follow her.
Alright, let's see. What the fuck? I was expecting something a little more chicken-like.
I've never seen them together like this before.
Yeah, me neither. This may be the natural state of things during the season of plenty.
Say, big trespass!
Right, sorry.
So, what's the problem?
I don't know why. I was imagining like, you know, Kulu Yakus. I was imagining them like Kulu Yakus.
Let's mark one with a paintball, and then we can...
Why would you?
Fucking minions.
She actually hit it.
Good, like, overall, good hit.
To ensure the safety of our research operation, the Guild authorizes the capture of this Yeon Kutku! You're up!
I'm up!
I'm up? It's just like, okay. Alrighty, I might need some dung to keep the other...
Keep in mind that the target must be captured so we can study it.
Oh, hang on.
Try dispersing the pack by firing a large dung pod.
Yeah, give me a second, give me a minute, give me a minute. Wait, which one has the... Oh, they all have the red thing in the DDL. Come on, get the fuck out of here. Oh! Come on. Come on, 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 and... Here we go. Ow! Nice. Feel the power of Mjolnir! Ow, fuck you. Okay, your tail is annoying. Fish, you will give me instant health when I properly capture him.
Careful! It looks angry!
Ah! The derp chicken in all their glory? Was everyone looking forward to this?
Leave this to me. Heels inbound.
God damn, this is a derpy motherfucker.
Hey! Get out of there!
Ow. Screamer pods, got it. I don't have screamer pods! Also, apparently I need to capture this fool.
Look at all our ingredients. We should whip out the barbecue grill.
Oh, great sushi fish. Nice. Alrighty. No berry, thank you. Flash bug, always good. Alrighty. Try not to catch on fire. There we go. Stout horn should give us something. Oh, gives us piercing pods. Not exactly what we were after, but sure. Trap. Where is the trap? Oh, it's not here. Ridiculous, this guy.
Of these claws.
Probably should rethink the weapon I'm using. There it is. Give me your tail.
Shock trap's down and ready for you. Leave this to me. Heels inbound.
Also, I'm gonna need to make some traps. Not realize I was losing that much health. Am I on fire or some shit? Got a flash pod at least. Okay. So, let's have a look at what I can craft. Alright, trap-wise, not much. I'm gonna need tranq bombs. Luring pod, cool.
Now's our chance. More supplies have been added.
A trap for the target, then hit it with some tranq bombs.
Yep. Is it nearly dead? No, it's not nearly dead. There we go. Alright, hang on. Alrighty, so... Trap, Trank Bombs, Sonic, and Potions while we're at it. God, my hammer is low.
That looks like a good place to set up camp.
Alright, let's see. Alright, so 1, 2. Alright, so I need to go 2 to the left when I next Where is he going? Oh, I see. Okay. Now the question is, can I...
some materials too. Check your field pouch.
Trap set.
Come on, over here, over here.
Now's your chance. Hit it with some trank bombs.
There we go.
A little chaotic, but thank you. You're free to head back to base.
Did it.
I need to speak to the research team about what we should do moving forward. And the cuckoo we captured.
Satellite dish ass ears. That would make sense for why it gets, you know, proper... You get some when he gets low. They don't say it earlier. Would have been nice. Oh, a bird wyvern gem. Lucky me. We got ourselves some inferno sacks, advanced armor thingamadiggy as well. It's a shame they don't give us like a lot. Like, it doesn't look like we can get more than what they've listed there in terms of like resources. Your Palico's support move is upgraded. Let her rip. A true hunter is never satisfied. Cool. The only breakable part appears to be their head/ears. You did good breaking that. Nice. I think one of the wings could get damaged as well from the looks of it, though.
Yeon Kutku gathering in unprecedented numbers is a significant development.
Yes, it is.
Amazing. So much life is coming back.
Yes, we're seeing clear reverberations in both the diversity and quantity of life. Or perhaps a reversion, I should say, to the natural state of things here.
My thoughts as well. All of the energy that Xochitl was siphoning away is free to flow out into the land.
And the ecosystem is beginning to rebuild. The other regions may be undergoing similar changes.
Indeed. I ask that you continue your investigation. I leave the choice of destination to you.
Wait, do all capture missions give you, like, the easy thingamadiggy and all that kind of nonsense when they're low on health, or was it only for that main mission?
No. I'll have Astrum Unit focus their efforts.
These changes may be affecting the villagers.
Good point.
Oh, now the advertisement starts. A new ecosystem. Oh, we get ourselves some trank bombs and some traps. Yay. Hunter rank goes up to 11. High rank environments have been unlocked. They are ever-changing environments where seasons and monsters will shift over time. You can now gain hunter rank points by completing quests or requests. Once you gain enough hunter rank points, your hunter rank will increase. You raise your hunter rank and continue investigating the Forbidden Lands through the new objectives that have been unlocked. Bonus rewards from field surveys conducted in high level are now available. Especially valuable rewards can be obtained from difficult monsters with higher ratings. Use the map or binoculars to check what bonus rewards can be obtained from a monster, then start a field survey by dealing damage or selecting the monster on the map. will limit what monsters you can target in field. Raise your HR by completing requests or hunting monsters. Yay! Oh, you got a side quest for me?
Hey, can we talk for a minute?
Did something happen?
I was just thinking about how I could be more useful. As a palico,
What are you talking about? I just upgraded you. You got a big-ass sword now.
I was thinking about how I can use things we find here in the East, like, say, finding an easier way to heal up with a vigor wasp in the middle.
That would be...
Right? Right? I want to try it out.
Of course. That'd be...
All right! Then get...
Nice. Alright. I think I know where there's a near... Actually, there's multiple side quests we can be doing. What's your, side quest?
Oh, Hunter! So, with Zoshia gone and the whole ecosystem going, good news for us. That means we're getting in high...
You're certainly...
Anyway, thing is, I'm...
happy to.
Thanks!
Okay, let's move out!
So, high-quality materials. You can now forge, upgrade high-rank equipment, hunt monsters in high rank to collect rare materials, have the same name but are much stronger at all the get stronger equipment. High-rank armor that you have forged can be set as layered armor from the... Yes! So any high-rank armor we forge, we can then turn into layered armor. Nice. Alright. Nata, you have something for me? Talk to the guild about it. It could be liaison to like a person to go from village, rely, da-da-da. Talk to Nata to trade items, retrieve materials without ever having to travel to the various regions. Any word from the village?
Would you like to trade something?
Dragon nut. Ooh, mud shrimp. Yes, please. And then we got rogue. Oh, I would have liked to have some of that. Seka. Alright.
The
Festival
people from Zeus told me to
shares.
tell you they said hello.
Smelted azuz, not as pure as it could be, but still of impeccable quality. Okay.
Okay, bye.
Alrighty. Yeah, I was able to get them this
Researching
time.
endemic life is part of the hunter's duty, you know?
Uh-huh. Ooh, okay. Didn't know I can get one of those. Oh. Use. Grab you. Grab you.
I gathered some materials too. And check your field pouch.
Wait, you look different to the others. Damn, can't get a good shot of you. Nope, couldn't capture you.
I think we're fine.
Alright, another bomb fish. Glad I'm collecting some bomb fish. A lot of jewel scarabs there. That was good. Ooh, hello. You. you. Themselves as plants.
I think these might be tracks.
What tracks? You said these might be tracks, and you didn't go to the tracks. Or are we talking about, like, something that was in my sights before?
Here we go!
A lot of monkeys. Well, at least we're gonna get, you know, high-ranked stuff from these monkeys. Looks like it's just a lot of colossal bone, though. Yeah, just colossal bone.
Leave this to me. Heels inbound.
Thank you for the heals. I appreciate it. I just need to find, you know, a Vero wasp out in the wild, and then we'll be able to... Ooh, Conga pelt. There we go. A lot of colossal bone, not a lot of Conga pelt. There's the little guy. Let's see. Ooh, something to get up here. Good himbo rating. It's almost halfway. You may notice that I am waffling for a little bit. I am not having, you know... I'm not rushing into any sort of monsters right now, and I'm just taking my sweet old time. The reason why is because it's getting past 12 o'clock, and I don't want to commit to a hunt right now. Ooh, hello? Carrion mushrooms. Okay. Weird. Didn't know that was a thing. Oh, there's a Vigo Rust. There we go. This will be useful.
Nice cat! As expected of my partner. Let me have a look when we return to camp.
Oh, when we return to camp. Okay. And while I'm at it, capture another one just for the hellsies of it. Amber. Another sushi fish. It was actually a pretty big sushi fish as well. Is that a smoke alarm I hear beeping in the background? No. You're hearing something that's in the game, not in my background, I'll tell you. It's like a weird, I don't know, it's like a weird indicator noise of like, oh, rare item here or something, but I still have no rhyme or reason as to why it does it in some areas and not others. Because I don't see the thing it's wanting me to... I'm not, like, seeing where
I should mark
it wants me to look. frog. Nullberry.
I'll ride with you. Wow, what a view!
It is lovely. Up. There we go. Ooh. There's a purple one up there.
Researching endemic life is part of the hunter's duty, you know?
This place is a massive reservoir of water.
I think I'm gonna go and call it here, I believe. Giant vigor wasp has been spotted. Fucking where? Not in this immediate area, let me tell you. But yeah, you hear it, don't you? You're just hearing like boom, 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 boom. You hear it, right? I think it's from the bugs. Alright, color me curious. What's all the way over there? There we go, there we go.
Time for a true master angler to shout!
So, alright, so now if we go for the golden thingy-majiggy. Oh, they're not going to be interested in this area. Hang on, I'm going to need to reel it in. Useful fish. Good for any kind of fish. Go. Another sushi fish. Awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna call it here. I am. But yeah, you. So yeah, that's probably the smoke alarm sound that he's talking about. It's like that thingamajiggy there. So yeah, these are all strength 2 and 4s. All right. Yeah, I am going to head back to the Plains base camp, and yeah, let's go and see who is online and who we can go and have a little raid into. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in with me as we went through Monster Hunter Wilds. I appreciate it. I was a little bit worried that it wouldn't be like too fun of a of a stream for people to watch, but I hope everyone here has had a pretty okay time. It looks like there's a lot of people playing Monster Hunter Wilds. Let's see. Who is on my list of whatsamahoozies? Ooh, Gloop Queen is doing a little bit of art, so that should be a nice little, you know, nice calm stream for you to get into rather than dealing with crazy monsters or anything like that. So we're gonna go and raid into Gloop Queen, And if you are subscribed to me, you're welcome for using the Himbo Raid a short message that we've got. I hope you'll all join in with me on that one. If not, that's okay. You're welcome to use whatever other kinds of emotes you want. And otherwise, I want to say thank you everyone who came along to this morning's stream. I greatly appreciate it. We've now, like, bleeded into the afternoon, so I'm going to go have my diet shake for the afternoon and get a double check on, like, my chores that I might need to do before work the next day. I hope you all have a good morning, afternoon, evening, night, wherever you are. I will get the stream schedule sent out shortly with the updated times, because now everyone's observing, like, daylight savings. My next stream is Wednesday, but if you can't attend, that's okay. Saturday, meanwhile, is the party game stream, so I'll post another message in the Discord and my Blue Sky about all that. So hopefully I'll see you in any one of those things, and if not, I will see you all next time. Bye for now. Eee!